Hello to my Year 11 class. I hope you had a successful history trip. As promised, here is a run-through of what we did in the lesson today. The main thing we spoke about and wrote about was symbolism, thus far, in Of Mice and Men. We began the lesson by talking about exactly what symbolism means and what symbolism is. And a broad definition is the idea that there are always symbols in literature and they mean whatever the author wants them to mean. So, for example, so far in Of Mice and Men we've seen that colours symbolise different things. And Steinbeck has deliberately used symbolism to get his readers to think about certain issues and characters. Okay. The crucial thing is, whatever these symbols are, they have connotations. A connotation is a link. If something is a connotation or has connotations, it makes us think of something else. For example, the colour red has connotations of warning. It has connotations of danger, perhaps. If we talk about black as a colour, it connotes death. Black's worn at funerals. If we talk about blue and fluorescent yellow, accompanied by blue flashing lights, instantly we're thinking emergency services, probably the police. So all of these things are very important in life, they're linked together. We're going to be looking at chapter 2 of Mice and Men, and as we've seen, we're introduced to several characters, all of whom have quite symbolic entrances when they come in. The first that we're going to talk about is the boss, the second, Curly's wife, and then the third, Curly himself. So in lesson 1 we talked about the boss and Curly's wife. Lesson 2 we're going to talk about Curly. I'm going to write about Curly's entrance. So you're going to need a copy of the text. What I'm going to do to start with is we'll read the description of the boss when he first arrives. So the boss, when he comes in, is very significant because of what he's wearing and the colours of it. So here we go. Let's see. Right. Sorry for the pause. Okay, here we go. A little, stocky man stood in the open doorway. He wore blue jean trousers, a flannel shirt, a black unbuttoned vest, and a black coat. His thumbs were stuck in his belt, on each side of a square steel buckle. On his head was a soiled brown Stetson hat, and he wore high-heeled boots and spurs to prove he was not a labouring man. Now, within that very brief paragraph there, we've got a lot of description of this man's character, and what he's saying, what he's doing, and what he's wearing is very symbolic. Here's 3 examples. He wears spurs on his feet. Anyone wearing spurs on the ranch who is a labourer would fall over because they hang on the back of the boots, and they're for riding horses anyway, and a lot of these men would have been on foot. They're impractical for labouring men, but they are a status symbol for him as the boss. Spurs are used to control a horse, to prick the sides of the horse to get the horse to behave as you want. Is Steinbeck using this as a symbolic gesture to say that's what he's like with people that work for him? I think so. He makes them feel like animals. He treats them like one of his horses. Secondly, there's 2 references to the colour black. He wears a big black coat. He wears a black vest, a flannel shirt, and he's got a hat on his head. This man does not work out in the fields. He's covered up. He's wearing this coat. He would be very warm. He'd be too warm in the fields. It's almost a status thing again. He's showing, I don't go out in the fields. I work indoors.